the day after the May doomsday. The 2nd of May is going to be a doomsday for me this season, unless something worse happens. But how do I say this? I will never do this again. I will never leave a mobile greenhouse, not secured, just to go and wash my hands. The fuck? I couldn't deal with it yesterday. My mind went into a complete task mode and I was just trying to save the plants. The good thing is that I don't know how that was even possible, but most of my plants survived that fall, that massacre. Honestly, I thought that if I would be able to save a few, that would be great, but I actually didn't lose any of my original plants. I think I've lost some of the tomatoes that I was gifted from a friend. And I have my suspicions why. I will show you in a second. But pretty much all of my plants survived. There is a few semi-casualties, broken leaves. And I think one tomato is broken from the main stem is broken, but maybe it can still be saved. I don't know. We'll see. And one has kind of broken-ish at the base of the stem, but I might still rescue it. I think the biggest problem right now is that I don't know which ones are which, because I didn't have them all labeled. But that wouldn't change anything because pretty much all of the plants, including the tomatoes, fell out of their pots. And when I was rescuing them, I was just putting them into whichever pot was the nearest that was empty. So this is how they ended up in the pots that they are right now. Oddly enough, the ones which originally had their name label attached to them, they somehow stayed within those pots. So at least one of each, I will know which one is which one. So that's a bit of an annoyance, but you know, in the grand look of things, I think not losing any of them after this is a big plus anyway. Today, what I will try to do, and the same goes for my pepper plants, all of them survived. I think only one has a broken yeah, this one has a broken stem from the top. So yeah, I don't know how peppers recover from being broken, because that never happened to me before. Because peppers are quite resilient, they are quite flexible in general and not that fragile as tomatoes, but what do you know? But yeah, peppers are okay. And the same goes for the brassicas. Whoopsie. There's some casualties in a form of broken leaves here and there. This one is actually looking a bit sad, but you know, these are brassicas, and I have 15 of each. These are broccoli, kohlrabi, and Brussels sprouts. I have 15 of each, so that's a lot anyway. So I'm not really worried about those. And again, the ones that had their name labels originally, they stayed with those labels, so I could pretty much separate them because they all kind of fell out on top of each other, as you could see on the footage. So this just happened. I will try to rescue some of it. At this point, they are big enough so that I can distinguish the differences in the leaves, because they do have slight differences. So I could kind of separate them and put them into the trays as closely as I think that they are what they are. The tomatoes, yeah, I don't know how I will manage to figure out which ones are which, because like I said, when I was rescuing them, I was putting them into the random pots. So not necessarily the one that is in here is actually from this pot originally, so that I could at least segregate them based on what pots they were in. The only thing that I know is two varieties, which was Ożarowski and Warszawski. They had a very specific leaves, that kind of leaves, which is slightly different to, let's say, this one. So I know that all of the plants with those kind of leaves, they will be either the Ożarowski or Warszawski. And as far as I remember, they were similar, if not probably the same type variety of tomato under a different name. I don't know, I'm not sure. Yeah, so this is a little bit annoying, but you know, I'm glad that they survived. And what I am planning to do today is to pot them up into bigger pots. This is the one, Bosman. It's the one that is kind of broken, but it's still holding on half of the stem. It has snapped in here. So I don't know, we'll see. I do have some footage of those, how they looked on the day of the massacre. So I will look at that and maybe try to figure out if there are any differences between them. Although pretty much all of those that have the standard tomato leaf, they look the same. I can see that there is one variety that has slightly reddish of the stem at the back, and I don't know if this is not the same as the Bosman. So it is kind of a purpley reddish hint to the coloring of the leaves. So that might be one variety. And well, I know that two of them had this additional seedling coming out. I think it was Favorit, but I don't know if this is the one. And the other one, which one was the other one? I can't remember. I'll have to look back at the footage. So then at least I will know that those two are the ones that had the babies, the little babies. Whoa. And I can see this one, I think, is broken. Yeah, this one has its top stem broken, but it can still grow side shoots if it survives. So we'll see. So that will be a partial natural selection of me having too many tomato plants. And then when it comes to the ones from my friend who gave me 16 of her seedlings, well, first of all, they are not doing so great. They haven't been doing so great. So apparently these were sown at the end of February. So at the moment they have solid 2 months of growing. Compared to mine, all of mine, these ones, were sown after the equinox, so 21st of March. So there is at least 3 weeks difference, meaning these ones being older. All of those have fallen out of their pots and out of its soil as well. Whereas mine, once they have fallen out of their pots, but they kept the soil intact. The compost was intact around them. So it was just a matter of like grabbing it and putting it back to the pot. Whereas these, let me show you up close. I think this is a better angle. Okay, so those tomatoes from my friend, she sown them what it looks like coco coir. I don't know how you say that, but I've never used this myself. I was always happy with how my seeds germinate in multi-purpose compost. So I never felt the need of experimenting with coco coir, whatever. When they fell, when all of it fell, those tomatoes, this coco coir went everywhere, absolutely everywhere. It does not hold any structure. The thing, what I've noticed with them is that when these are dry, this doesn't hold any structure. It's like sand. And maybe this is why those tomatoes do not grow. I don't know, because it doesn't make any sense to me for them being at least 3 weeks older, technically, and being this tiny. Um, all of them kind of look, they do not hold any structure to the compost, like the roots do not bound around the compost like the multi-purpose compost would normally do. I've lost pretty much all of the labels came out, so I don't know which ones are which. There's only 3 really that somehow stuck to the pots, and I think it was just a matter of what got squashed with what, and maybe they didn't get a chance to basically fall out because they were squashed with others on top of them. But pretty much all of them fell out, including the this this soil, this coco coir, whatever that is. And it's just, it was a matter of picking them. Look, like it doesn't have, I'm barely pulling them, and it doesn't have any connection with the soil. So how is this supposed to grow in it? I'm surprised that they've done this well, to be honest. So my plan for today is to put them in just normal compost and see how they do. I've lost a few. They just disappeared because she gave me, my friend gave me 16 of the seedlings, and some of them just disappeared in the whole mess. But quite a few of them were still quite tiny. So I'm not surprised if, you know, it was a complete mess. My instinct yesterday was to just quickly go and save them and repot them straight away after I've picked them up. But I couldn't bring myself to do it. I was so annoyed. I was so upset because it was my stupidity of just going home after it started to rain. And because I was still, after I stopped filming, I still did a few jobs in the rain and I had very muddy hands. So I thought I'm going to just lock it, meaning zip it down, go wash my hands because they were so mucky, and then pull it back into the house. And as I was washing my hands in the bathroom, my husband was cooking dinner, and I could hear him, "I your tomatoes," and he just ran out, and then I ran out. It was just Yeah. Today is sunny, and I was procrastinating doing it because I don't know, something in my head is just blocking me. It was blocking me from coming and doing it. I think I'm very annoyed with not only the fact that this happened, but also with the fact that I don't know which ones are which now because I really don't like that kind of disorganization. Um, how ridiculous is this? Um, but yeah, again, my husband said, why don't you just go sit outside for a few minutes? It's sunny, it's nice and warm. Just sit outside. I'm going to give you a glass of wine and just relax. Just don't do anything because this whole early afternoon, I was just doing random jobs in the garden that don't really are not priority and do not need me doing them. At least not now. But I was doing everything just so that I wouldn't have to come here and deal with those because it's just ugh, it's so unnecessary, this situation. Uh, so yeah, I will have my wine. I will put something on Netflix so that I can relax and just get into a robotic state of potting up those tomatoes. I might just start with these because I don't know if they will survive otherwise. Let me know if you have experience with coir. I don't know how to say that. Is there much point in growing seedlings in it, and how? Why is this not working? And the other thing is that when I put water in those pots, and I'm going to plant these in plastic pots. I know that this is very, you know, organic and all of that, but once these cardboard pots get wet, they dissolve very quickly. And since these are still so tiny, they still have a way to go before they will be big enough to be planted out. Or so I think these will dissolve sooner than those tomatoes will grow. But what I was going to say, when I was pouring water in it, this is just sinking down, and the level of that soil, of that coco coir sits, and that kind of exposes the stem of that young seedling. And by accident, I have, before all of this happened, I have broke two of those seedlings this way, which never happened to me before either, breaking a seedling by watering it. And that is simply because the water pushing on that coco coir made it push it down and exposed this fragile part of the stem that is below the soil level, and it just was too weak and it couldn't hold the pressure of the water. And it wasn't like I was putting the water from a hose on it. I was using a watering can. This, my regular young plants watering can. I don't want to water them now because I will be repotting them. So I don't want to wet the soil around them. But yeah, it just, I don't know how is this supposed to work. Because with compost, with regular compost, it doesn't happen. Like if you water this doesn't sink down, it just holds its structure. I don't know. Let me know if you have any ideas on what might have transpired with these not growing as if they should be at least 2 months old. Okay. From the footage that I took yesterday before the incident, let's call it politely, these are the close-ups on the tomatoes, and I can see that this one is Bosman, and it has, as I mentioned before, it has this darker kind of leaves, and I think this is the only one that has a leaf shading like this. That's the peppers and the little ones, and then down the bottom are the other ones. Yeah. So this is Ożarowski and Warszawski that have those different type of leaves, but very similarly looking to each other. So I will take those out of those plants. There should be 8 of them, because I also gave one pot of each variety to my friend, the one who gave me those seedlings. These are now repotted in the multi-purpose compost and watered, and we'll let them grow. So out of mine, I had 4 of each variety, and then 3 of those. Wait, this is the wrong way. 3 pots of these on top, because these were the ones that only gave me 4 germination seeds, plus those 2 with the babies, which is the sweet aperitif and favorite. So this is the only kind of tracking that I can make. The 2 different type of leaves, this darker leaf, that will be one variety. The 2 different leaves, that will be another 2 varieties, but they can go together. It doesn't really matter. I think they will come with similar looking fruit. And I can at least figure out by the baby tomatoes in those 2 that the smaller baby, so that will be, I think, this one will be the sweet aperitif, because it's way smaller than the other one. This one is bigger, so this will be the favorite. So at least I know that these, what varieties are those. So at least we have that. So I'll do those now, and I will divide those babies out to the separate pots as well. So again, this is favorite. so I can separate them. This is sweet aperitif, favorite, favorite. The middle ones, obviously, it will be some of those remaining ones in the pot. I can separate the Bossman one as well, which is this one, which is slightly broken. I think it's this one. And is it that? Maybe. Okay. Yeah. At least that's something. I am done with repotting, potting up all of the tomatoes. After watching the footage of them from before the incident for many, many minutes and investigating the size of all of the varieties as they were before they fell out. So regardless of which pots they ended up after I've picked them up from the ground, from the mess, I've investigated the shape and the shape of the leaves and the colors and the sizes, how tall or how small they were. And I am, let's say 90% sure that I've matched them. But again, if there will be any errors, that's only plants. No one got hurt, so there's really no reason to make a big fuss about it. But I think I got it. I think I figured it out, and I think I've sorted them out more or less. So yeah, I have them potted up. I think I found the missing sweet aperitif and favorite, also because of the shape of the leaves. The favorite ones, they have slightly bigger leaves, and I was also looking at the footage to see what was the kind of bushiness of each plant, and from the selected ones that I figured that they are what they are supposed to be in terms of the variety, and what I have left, kind of going backwards slightly, I've matched them to what I think they should be. This one, red pear, is the only proper casualty which has a broken stem on the top. I still potted it up because I thought I'll just see what happens. Maybe it will grow a side shoot, or if it doesn't, then still I have quite a few down here. Also, I have quite a few tomatoes, and these ones, the ones from a friend that I have been given, I have potted them up into the proper plastic pots and in multi-purpose compost, so hopefully they'll pick up the pace and grow. Next time that I have a minute, I will sort out the peppers, because they pretty much all of them went upside down and flopped and fell out of their pots. So yeah, there is this one casualty, like I mentioned, but still there's quite a lot of them. But I think I will pot them up and just to give them a little bit of a refresh, basically. So in the end, nothing severely happened apart from just the stress of it and, you know, the annoyance and the additional job and time that I had to now spend on fixing it. But, you know, it's not that bad actually. So, yeah, interesting event and unexpected and very much not necessary, like I said. But, you know, this is what happens sometimes, I guess. At least we have a nice sunset right now, and I'll show you a little bit of it. But I will say my goodbyes now. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.